People want to know that you're doing the right thing for the community. And that's when we talk sustainability, it's not just the environment, but it's also the community where you are. And we're lucky in Bali that we can give back to the communities where we are.
Hello, my name is Renae Leith-Manos. Welcome to this podcast, Where to From Here, featuring conversations about luxury travel and how it's changing in every pocket of the globe. Today, I'm here talking to Evan Burns, who's another fantastic Australian doing amazing things in Southeast Asia. He's in Bali working for Cross Hotels, a company owned by Flight Centre that has 28 different properties. Evan, how are you?
I'm good, Renae. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and lovely always to talk to someone in one of my favourite countries, Indonesia, and of course, Bali. So tell us a little bit about Cross Hotels and how you've ended up, with this company in Indonesia.
Thanks. So I've been in Indonesia for 10 years now, originally from Melbourne, country boy. I'm from Gippsland, 2 hours from Melbourne. And all I want to do in my life is work in hotels. And I had to move to the big city to get there. So I started my career in Melbourne. I'm aware that, one of my hotels, Westin Melbourne, was my first property that I worked at.
Beautiful property, don't you think? Was it gorgeous to work? I mean, still now. It's one of those properties that just doesn't age.
Yeah. I didn't know much about it. And then I had the opportunity to do work experience there. And I back then I did every department under the sun to get a job in hotels. And from there, the career blossomed. We had some really good general managers that mentored and something that I take on to my career every day. But from Australia, I did Melbourne, I did Sydney, I did Fiji, and ended up in Indonesia. So I'm 10 years here now. I'm permanent resident, have a lovely Indonesian wife and a mixed Australian Indonesian child. So Indonesia is my home, and Cross Hotels is an interesting brand. And I've worked for many luxury properties. I've worked for the international chains, and I've worked for independent chains. And now I'm sitting with Cross Hotels and Resorts. It's, as you said, 28 hotels, 6 brands, everything from luxury to lifestyle. And I'm super excited to be where I am. And I'm in Bali. The weather's good all year round. I'm sorry. I know it's probably quite cold where you are at the moment, but
it is a bit. But I've lived in Jakarta too. Like I really, really love Indonesia. And I wanted to ask you, I think you first left Australia and went to Fiji. Was that a big move, like leaving Australia? Because I know that like Australia's quite conservative. And I know that when I left and went to Indonesia, people were like, Indonesia? Like, how did you find the pathway out of Australia?
It's a funny story. So I was in Sydney. I was in an iconic hotel called Sheraton on the Park, one of the biggest hotels in Australia, and
still iconic.
Still. And one of my old mentors, Sean Hunt, his name is. He said, "We need to get you out of Australia because you fit the culture. You fit trying to mentor and develop people, and we're going to send you to Fiji." So I said, get me on a plane, and I'm there. And I went on work like a task force. And about 2 months into my task force, I never came back. I stayed there. It was tough, working from Australia where everything is set, regulations are set, and you just go along your normal life. But in Fiji, things happen, and I wasn't used to it. First 2 days in the job, we had a flood. All right. So dealing with not only natural disasters, but also the people and learning different cultures and trying to manage staff that were twice your age and you're a foreigner coming in. It was a really good learning, but something I take deep to the heart now into my daily job every day.
Wow. And then you went to Indonesia, or?
So after Fiji, randomly there was a cyclone called Cyclone Evan, right? And I was managing I know. I was managing the resort. Most expats were on holidays at this time. It was around December. And I was trying to deal with a cyclone and write guest letters to the guests saying, this is what we're going to do for Cyclone Evan. And then it was from Evan as my namesake. So it was quite an interesting time, but that was hard to go through a cyclone. And after that, it took a toll, and I wanted something fresh. And my Starwood at the time was my company. And I said, what do you want to do? And Starwood said, we're going to send you to Jakarta. So I said, where is Jakarta?
Yes.
And they said, you know Indonesia? And I said, yeah, I know Indonesia. And Bali? Yeah, Bali. Well, Jakarta is the capital of Indonesia. And if you'd like to go there, that's where you'll go. So I Googled it. And of course, when you Google things straight away, all the bad things come up, and terrorism and riots and bombs and all this kind of stuff. So my mum's like, "You're not going." And I said, I want to go. I need a city. I'm a city boy. I need that kind of life. Fiji, everything shuts at 5 o'clock and it's a tourist, and couldn't really meet anyone, couldn't have that kind of social aspect that I was looking for. And 2 weeks into Jakarta, I loved it. The city is amazing. It can chew you up and spit you up, but if you focus on things and you try to be good to the people, and you try to look after your owners and look after your guests, and obviously you by driving the people culture, you can become very successful. And 10 years later, I'm still here. So
yeah, wow. Because Indonesia's not easy and Jakarta's not easy. And as you said, it's a big cultural shift. Yeah. Even learning how to communicate with Indonesians, and because in my experience, one of the aspects is you have to be friends before you do business. So if you arrive there, which you did, and I did, not knowing anyone, you can't just go bang like you might in Sydney or Melbourne or even London or New York. You just have to sort of go, hang on a minute, let's just slow things down.
Yeah.
Which is not culturally in Australians' DNA.
I know. But the good thing is I learned that from Fiji. So Fiji is, and you would have been familiar with Fiji time. So you try to tell your staff, okay, we're going to do this. And they go, okay, yeah, but we're going to do it on the Fiji time. So you kind of learn not to push that pace and get the best out of your people. And Indonesians are amazing. So are Fijians, but I really fit with this kind of culture. Their work ethic is unbelievable. When I was growing up the ranks in Australia, I didn't see that in the hotels, because a lot of the staff, they're transparent workers because they're at uni, they're becoming a doctor, but they're working in a hotel. But in Indonesia, people want to be in this job. That it's their career, and they're there from the beginning until the end.
Yes. Well, obviously the wage system in Australia is very different and creates the environment that you talked about. Yeah. And in fact, I talk to a lot of general managers here, and it's one of the obstacles now, because it's so expensive to run a luxury hotel. You can't possibly provide the kind of service that you're talking about that you provide in Indonesia.
Exactly.
It's really difficult. And what changes have you seen in the industry? I mean, obviously it's been through a massive shift. What do you see changing, and what do you think is coming for luxury hotels particularly?
I think there's one kind of golden rule that we talk about in hotels now. We don't talk the pre-pandemic anymore. It's kind of it's a word that we don't like to use, but we use it as a base to how our business was going. And if you just talk about business in general, all my hotels in Indonesia, their growth is well and truly above 2019. And I think that people are starting to travel more, but in the luxury segment, people are, especially in Indonesia, like obviously the price point has kind of gone up from 2019, and you talk the average rate and everything, but expectations has kind of changed. So people are looking for that personal touch. People are looking for an experience rather than just a transparent kind of process in a hotel. All the regular things like cleanliness and your welcome experience, that is all kind of expected now, but people are looking for something different. And all our hotels, they sit around about a 60% return rate for our guests, right? So you've got Bali, if you look after them, they're loyal to you forever. So we found that you don't need such big loyalty programs anymore. You have apps where everyone has so many apps and so many loyalty programs. The best kind of loyalty is remembering their name, old-fashioned, remembering their name, their preferences, what they like to drink. So that we've seen a lot of those old school approaches to luxury travel come back, and personalizing the experience a bit more is what makes the guests talk about you. Yeah. So we have every second, third guest is a referral from another guest, and that's the kind of the best loyalty that we can create. But with luxury, of course, comes now sustainability. And sustainability is a bit of a buzz. It can be a buzzword, but you don't have to be fully sustainable in your approach. You just have to be doing the right things and start with baby steps and work your way from there. So we've seen that approach where you need to be looking after the people. We find that with the luxury, you need to obviously look out. Your asset needs to be good, but also we find that people want to know that you're doing the right thing for the community. And that's when we talk sustainability, it's not just the environment, but it's also the community where you are. And we're lucky in Bali that we can give back to the communities where we are.
Yes, 100%. And tell me about a couple of the more luxurious properties that you've got in your portfolio.
Yeah. So all our properties are different. That's why it's good that we have we're a lifestyle hotel. So we only operate lifestyle properties. So we have one of our properties is Cross Bali Breakers. It's in an area called Balangan. It's all private pool villas, plus 3 communal swimming pools. We have 2 restaurants, 2 bars, but this is it's an escape. It's luxury by design. So you go there, everywhere is a design element. Everything is Instagrammable. It is different than what you would get in one of our other properties. And that's why we benefit differently, because not every property is unique in its own right. So for example, created a brand, and it's a white label, which a lot of properties do. It's called Cross Collection. It was our 6th brand, and Cross Collection is that gives the ability to have the owners keep their brand identity. So a couple of our properties in Indonesia, where Indonesian owners, they have the identity of their brand or their DNA, but they don't have the knowledge how to distribute it to the world or the expertise on the management. So we've been able to take these hotels to a new light. So we've got one in Ubud. It's called Tanah Dewa by Cross Collection. They have 2 properties, one in Ubud, one in Nusa Dua. And when you go there, like if you were in Balangan or one of our properties in Legian, then you go to Ubud, it creates something different. And that's the good thing with Bali. And you would have been to Bali, I'm sure. But Bali is so unique that you can be in Legian, where with Legian, we have a hotel called Away Bali Legian. It's 117 rooms, and it's 90% Australian demographic. And you can imagine you've got everything from bintang singlets to stubby holders to whatever it might be. And then you go to Balangan, and people are getting dressed up for breakfast, and people are different, and their spend goes up, their average spend goes up, and then just giving a different, unique part of Bali, but also keeping that culture. That's the one thing I love living in Indonesia. I'm here for 10 years because a lot of hotels can go from country to country, but they lose that cultural aspect of where they
local,
are. Local, yeah. We do everything like our brand standards. We have different hallmarks. So, for example, instead of doing a standard welcome drink on arrival, some of our hotels do popsicle. So we're using local fruit. One of our newest properties, it's called Cora. It's an immersive village experience. That's where we are only hiring staff from the local village. And this hotel, instead, when you check in, you get a full ceremony, a Balinese ceremony, blessing going into the property. So something unique. And that's why I mentioned before, luxury travel is about creating this experience now.
100%. And those community experiences and village experiences, they are definitely on the way out all over Southeast Asia. I've just spent time in Thailand working for a couple of weeks, visiting various hotels. And that's, the way to go. And also, the community actually contributing to the hotel community, whether that's through the recycling of the soaps or supplying something else in the hotel. It's interesting, isn't it, that, what's happened has brought such a shift, in this area of community sustainability and wellness. Is that something as well that's a pillar, with Cross Hotels that you're seeing changing? And if so, how?
Yeah, wellness is, we saw this coming out of COVID. I know we don't like the buzzword COVID, but we felt that people chose COVID to look at themselves and go, you know what, I want to come out of this a better person and a more responsible person and do things differently. Like it's like, I can imagine that the gym memberships around the community went up because everyone's like, I got to get healthy again. But in terms of the hotel, we already started this. One of our hotels, we have a CrossFit, right? So we don't have a standard gym. We try to do things different. So we have an outdoor gym, and it's a CrossFit, and people love it. And when we were building it, we didn't know how the guest would take this, but they love it. And it's something different, something unique. And then you go to Ubud, we have a yoga sala in the hotel, right? So we do yoga in the morning and yoga private classes throughout the day. And that's what people are looking for. But the sustainability part, or the what we like to call the immersive experience that one of our properties have, is that we try to be responsible in terms of, okay, we're going to give people a job, which is the first thing. We're going to put the money directly back into the community. We have a farm, so we only grow the produce for the property there. We have 22 pavilions. This is Cora I'm talking about. So we have 22 pavilions, and the pavilions sit on top of a working rice field. So
Sounds incredible.
we give the rice back to the community to grow and to harvest. But the full cycle is we buy that rice back from them and use it in all our properties in Cross Hotels. So it's kind of this whole full circle. And the other thing that we've found that we do is about being responsible. I talk sustainability, not just about plastic and the environment. It's how we can look after the area that we are in and how we can leave making this area better than it was before we started. So one of the best things we ever did was make a relationship with a university in Bali. And we do our own Cross Hotels and Resorts. It's a tourism hospitality school, because I came from a college, William Angliss in Melbourne. It's a hospitality college. And what they did to me was what set me up in my career. So I'm kind of trying to do that back in Indonesia. So we have a Cross Hotels and Resorts class. All our department heads and general managers from all our hotels, they go in and they teach and they give back to the students. But
fantastic.
We guarantee placement into our hotels, but most importantly, we give 2 slots every year to the people that are less fortunate. So we pay for them to go through the whole college. We pay for their motorbike. We pay for their laptop. And we guarantee them a job, right? So that's when I talk sustainability, people can do things like that. And that's what I'm more excited about. And this whole mantra, we want to leave the place better. And I believe by doing these things that we will.
Yeah. How fantastic. That's really inspiring.
Thank you.
There's actually doing tangible things. There's a lot of sustainability fluff and, smoke and mirrors, as you know, globally I'm talking about now. That something like that is very tangible and very real. And it's almost at the micro level, which is the macro solution in a funny kind of way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what challenges do you think the industry is facing now? I mean, what's your biggest challenge this year?
In Indonesia, I think the biggest challenge is at the moment was the airlift, right? So airlift is still a challenge.
Getting enough planes in?
Getting enough planes in, yeah.
From everywhere or
from everywhere. So it's a lot of we can have a separate podcast on this issue, but it's
maybe we should.
We should, yeah. But
it's interesting.
It's mainly a lot of the countries are not back where they were. Like whilst the volume is bigger, we still don't have the Chinese business in Bali yet. You still can't get a direct flight to India. So a lot of people are transiting. Whilst we have good stories where many countries, and especially Australia, they're back in numbers, but Bali can't rely on just the Australians. Of course, they're our biggest market, but in terms of...
Are they at the moment still?
They are still number one. So currently, as of today, so Australia is number one, followed by India, and then it's broken down from there.
No wonder you need a direct flight to India. That's ridiculous.
So they all transit by Singapore or Vietnam, and it's a long way to travel. And the good thing about, especially Cross Hotels, is we have different hotel for different markets. We're not reliant on one market. So luxury travel, and you would know this, is there is some good markets within every country, luxury travel, of course. So we use global sales representatives around the world working for us. We have one based in India, one based in Australia, UK, and they're going out looking for this market. So we want to make it as seamless as possible to come in. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that we found during COVID that the loyalty to hotels for staff has gone. Not so much for our company. We have less than a 2% turnover, so I'm quite happy. But hospitality in general, like it can get up to about 10% turnover at the moment. And the reason is that during COVID, a lot of businesses that, for whatever reason it might be, couldn't look after their staff anymore. And overnight, they lost their loyalty. So now when jobs come up, the staff will just leave. There's no... If they can get paid an extra $10, $20 a month, they can. We're lucky in our hotel that our staff will come to us first and say, I've got this opportunity or whatever it might be.
Can I just say you are really lucky, because I run a consulting business off my reviewing business that I've had for 20 years. And that is one of my main focuses, and one of the main cultural challenges in Southeast Asia, but especially Indonesia, is often staff will work somewhere for maybe a decade or more and go down the road, apply for a job, getting slightly more money, come back to the original workplace and say, I'm leaving to go up the road. And the general manager says, I would have given you more money in a better position. Why didn't you ask me? So it's amazing. If they're doing it with you, that's really good. Yeah. It's rare.
We really focus on employee engagement. We have third-party employment engagement. We do it very, very well. And, we're sitting on average for all our 7 properties, we're sitting 94%. So it's extremely good. But we have that culture. But I'm just talking industry. And I know everyone was in difficult situations during COVID and everyone had different circumstance. I get it. But the people are what drives your business. Without those people, you don't have any customer. So
100%. Yeah. Nice. So interesting. And how do you see the future of luxury hotels evolving? What do you think we've got coming that we haven't seen yet? Is there anything?
Funny enough, in Bali especially, we don't have too many hotels that have opened. This is coming out of COVID and people are delaying their projects and everything. But we're seeing brands coming here that have never entered the market before. Okay. We've got in this country, so we've got, hotels like the Kimpton and all this that are starting to open up. But I think the travel that I was talking about, the experience travel, is going to be something that will go into this luxury market. It always existed, you know this. It always existed, but now if you do it properly, that's what we're going to see come out of this. So we're going to see, in terms of luxury, I don't think luxury will have to be boutique anymore. 20, 30, 40 room you can still have luxury in bigger properties. But I think that it's more about the personal touch, as I said, the experience that you're going to get and benefits that you obviously can get as a guest, right? So whether that's the return discount or whatever it might be. So I think that's something that we will see coming. But I think if I could put money on it, would be this experience travel. And that's why we got into the market early with this Cora project. Yeah.
No, I'd love to see it. It sounds amazing. Yeah. And someone who is leading the charge in a lot of what you've just said is Bill Bensley. I mean, I don't know if you know about him. Yeah. He's a hotel designer. He's done Capella Ubud in Bali, which I stayed and reviewed last year, which was incredible. Yeah. And he is very much focused on that. And it even takes it one step further when he builds a hotel for an owner and saying, we're not going to build the 300 rooms and we're not going to kill a tree. We're actually going to use what's here and create like the tented camp that he's done in Bali. Yeah. But he's doing another one in Africa at the moment. And it's all around all the pillars that you just said. It's really interesting because a lot of groups are not doing it, Yeah. But I see Southeast Asia again, really leading the charge in this way in terms of really localizing things and making things community-based and sustainable, kind of ticking all the boxes when they create, a new concept.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how about you? Do you travel in luxury and where do you like to go?
It's something coming out of 2 years of no travel. My wife would say, where are we going for a holiday? And every year it would be, we're going back to Australia, see the family. Her parents live here, right? So we're lucky enough to see them there often. But being in Southeast Asia, we travel very close and very cheaply, right? In terms of airfare, because you've got a lot of competition. Unfortunately, Australia can drive the price demand for the flights, but the industry is really special. So of course I like to only stay in luxury depending on price points and how much income I have. But the good thing about our industry is the general managers and the people that work, even if you don't know them and you reach out, it's like this community and they will help you. So contact them, that they can help you with rates and everything like that. I just got back from Hong Kong, 2 weeks ago. Unbelievable city. I don't know if you've been, but
I was in February. I was there with my daughter. I travel a lot. Yeah, it has changed though. It's changed a lot.
Yeah, but first time there, and I think the hotel scene was amazing. I stayed in some great hotels. I stayed in the Grand Hyatt on the water there. It was really nice hotel. And then end of the year, I'm going skiing in Japan. My son has lived in 38-degree heat for the last 6 years and never seen snow. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow. How wonderful.
But it's tricky because Japan, it's cheaper to go to Japan than it is to go to the slopes in July in Australia, which is crazy.
Australia is so expensive. I just get sticker shock every time I walk out the door. Everything, I don't know how it can sustain. I mean, it's particularly the power prices, which of course means that everything goes up because everything needs power. So I think that's the right decision. Yeah, I think just as much time in Asia holidaying at the moment is a good thing because also Europe is very expensive at the moment.
Yeah, my son goes to a international school in Bali, Australian school actually. With that comes a price point, so you never take the kid out of the school holidays. So we have to travel within that school holidays, and unfortunately, the school holidays matches the Australian school holiday season. So it's kind of going back and forth. But
difficult Japan, for you because that would be peak time.
Difficult for me, job. But it's Japan and Korea. We're doing both December, so that's where I'm going next. So super excited about that. But that's the focus. But we've just had 2 really good months in Bali, August, July was record. Most hotels were record ever. So it was really good. We had the highest number of arrivals out of Australia ever in June. Yeah, we're looking forward to more growth and more expansion, hopefully within the next couple of months.
Amazing. Well, it's fantastic to speak to you, and I'm so glad we've connected. And Esty, our mutual friend in Jakarta, has connected us, who I absolutely love. And I hope to see you. I'm in Bali a lot because I consult a lot there. So hopefully I'll see you. I think I'm there end of September. So it'd be wonderful to see one of the properties or review something and to meet you.
I'm going to hold you to that promise.
Sounds great, Evan. Thank you for making the time to come on the show. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Have a great rest of the year.
All right. You too. Take care.
Thanks so much. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.